Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I'm so happy to be back on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel with not one but two cards. I am sharing a really simple bonus shaker card after showing you how to make this one. That's why I'm starting out by stamping two unicorns from the Magical Day stamp set by Crafty Meraki. So I'm not really going for a 2-for-1 design, but I am going to show you how I am using die cutting a little bit more consciously lately, so I can get more use out of one pass through my die cut machine. So I just stamped these onto Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock, which is perfect for alcohol marker coloring and also ink blending. It's lovely cardstock, really easily available in Europe, but any alcohol marker friendly cardstock you have is perfect. I stamped this in Memento Tuxedo. Nope. I stamped it in My Favorite Things Extreme Black ink. I always get those confused because I haven't had the My Favorite Things ink for that long yet. So I just stamped it. It's not perfect. You can see that the stamping isn't perfect, but I always stamp these twice. So I left the stamps in my MISTI and I am going to put these images, once the coloring is done, back in the MISTI and stamp them again in embossing ink or VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which I can add clear embossing powder to. So once the coloring is done, I chose two different colors for that last unicorn. I just wanted some more color in him, and then I put that back in my MISTI and I stamped it again with the VersaFine Onyx Black. This is perfect ink to add embossing powder to because it stays wet for a very long time. So I added clear gloss superfine embossing powder to that from WOW, and I heat set it with a WOW Dual Speed heat tool. For my background for the first card, I am using this striped background from My Favorite Things, and I always get confused about what this is called, so I'll make sure to list the name in the description below instead. I put this in the wrong side of my MISTI and I adhere the watercolor cardstock to the door of my MISTI instead. I just like this because that way I can make sure that the lines are going the correct direction. For background stamps, it's not that important, but I know I'll get a good stamping this way. It's really easy to do. It's easier than to cut the cardstock a whole lot larger and fuss around with magnets when the stamp is that large. I stamped it in Versamark ink and I embossed it with Silver Pearl embossing powder by WOW. It's basically the same as white pearl, but it's just a gorgeous pearlescent color. Now here I have the star that I want to die cut. I want a star frame, so I'm using two dies from the Birthday Star Mini Slimline die set by Crafty Meraki, and I'm centering that onto a glitter panel. So I can use the star frame that it creates that I wanted for this first card, but I can also use the panel with the star cut out of it for a second card. And it's perfect. This way of die cutting is perfect for shaker cards. You can get a really quick shaker card out of this. I made my second card in 10 minutes if you don't count the coloring of the second unicorn. Yeah, so if you're a little bit more conscious of how you die cut things or where you die cut them from, you can usually get a really fun shaker panel out of your die cutting as well. So for my first card, I wanted to go for a very abstract night sky. And I am just using some night sky colors, some various shades of blue and a little bit of purple because there's also some purple in the unicorn. And I am just making sure that the paint is very saturated at the top of my card, and I'm blending it out with some clean water on my paintbrush. This is really easy to do and it's really great fun as well. It's also great practice to get some control over how much water you need to use. Especially with these small areas, it's really easy practice, but it's very useful. So if you have a background stamp like this, I highly encourage you to try something like this. if you're practicing your watercolors. So I'm just checking with that star periodically to see if my background is wide enough yet, because I don't want to color the entire panel. I just want to make sure there's a backdrop for that star. I had a lot of fun with this. It took me a little bit of time to color this background, but I was going slow, as I always go. I always take my time card making, but these 2 cards took me 1 hour and 10 minutes in total to make. For that star frame, I die cut it 3 more times out of thick white cardstock and just layer those together. Then I am adhering my background on top of my card, and because the paint might not have been super dry yet, especially on the embossing powder in some places, I just put a scrap piece of cardstock over it to press it down. This usually helps me adhere things down without getting smudges all over the white spaces of my card. I'm trying to adhere all of my stars. I die cut these small stars just from a random die set I had laying around. There's not even a name on it. I have no idea where it's from, but it's got cute stars on it. So I just die cut them out of the same silver glitter cardstock. It also had some star frames, some really tiny open stars, which are perfect. And I adhered those down as well and propped the unicorn up on some foam tape. I am adding some gorgeous Meraki sparkle, of course. These are the Fairy Garden Meraki Sparkle gems. So they are silverback gems. They are not translucent, but they have a really fun iridescent, they have a really fun iridescence to them. So they are so stunning, and they go with everything. So I highly recommend these if you're looking for embellishments. There's a couple of sizes in a pack. I think there's 4 or 5 maybe sizes. I'm not entirely sure, but there's plenty of sizes to work with. Now for my second card, because that finished up my first one, I am backing that opening of the star on the silver cardstock panel with a piece of acetate. I'm using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere that down because this is a slick surface and you don't want to use Barely Arts glue for that. I am then adding some pattern paper. This just had a really pale wash of rainbow colors on it. It was perfect for unicorns, I thought, and I just put that on my card with some Barely Art Precision Craft glue. I am adding a ton of sparkles, some silver glitter, some blue stars, some purple, just a bunch of things that I had laying around. And then I propped my panel, my silver glitter panel, up on some foam tape. I have to say here, I didn't press it down completely because in the end you can see one glitter escaping and the top of my foam tape just wasn't pressed down properly. So yeah, that's that. It's fixed now. I added the unicorn on some foam tape, and then I just added a sentiment from a honeybee stamp set, I think, that I just had laying around. This unicorn stamp set comes with amazing sentiments. I just wanted this card to be done really quickly. It was done in maybe 10 minutes. So yeah, this was perfect. I just needed a quick sentiment to put it on. And then this card, which was main card, I really love how this one turned out with the wave of stars. I really like the arrangement of the stars, and I fussed around with it quite a bit. I did add some Stickles glitter on the unicorn, which you can see right now, but that's it. That's the cards all finished. I hope you like the cards. I also hope you think about your die cutting a little bit differently now. If you just need a frame out of some specialty cardstock, it might be worth it to save that piece to make a shaker card. I have been doing it quite a bit lately. I've been getting a ton of cards from it, which is not necessarily a great thing in my case because I already have too many cards laying around. But still, if you need cards in a hurry, this might be a good one for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.